That's exactly what Kelly and her boss, NBC News Chairman Andy Lack, said to me a few days ago. They said, hey, terrorists and child molesters and serial killers have been interviewed on television. What's different about this hate monger, this conspiracy theorist? Radio and web host Alex Jones promotes conspiracy theories and foments hatred of media. He's been called a freak show and downright dangerous. So should he be interviewed on a big network like NBC? And if so, how? Megyn Kelly taped an interview with Jones last week, and it's set to air on her NBC News magazine in just a few hours. This is part of a preview from the network.
When you say parents faked their children's death, people get very angry.
Yeah, well, I know, but they don't get angry about the 500,000 dead Iraqis from the sanctions, or they don't get angry about all the illegals.
That's a dodge.
No, it's not a dodge. The media never covers all the evil wars it's promoted, all the big things.
That doesn't excuse what you did and said about Newtown. You know it.
Here's the difference. I looked at all the angles of Newtown, and I made my statements long before the media even picked up on it.
Whew. Some advertisers have told NBC they don't want to be anywhere near this show tonight. We know some families of the Sandy Hook victims have written letters to NBC, including from lawyers, saying, please don't air this. And we know the NBC station in Connecticut near Newtown will not be airing the show. Now, to make matters worse, Jones released part of his conversations with Kelly. He apparently was recording everything. At one point in the audio, Kelly promises to go easy and, this won't be a gotcha piece. She's not out to get him. So has NBC gone about this all wrong? Let's ask Charlie Warzel. He's a senior writer at BuzzFeed News who's been writing about Jones for years, and Mo Ryan, a television critic at Variety. Mo, you say this segment should not air on NBC. Why?
Well, I think that covering people like Alex Jones is important. I should make that clear at the outset. I think that the rise of these people who foment hate and spew lies is important to our culture. It's obviously tapping into something that's happening in America. I just think the context in which this coverage takes place is really important. And if you were to tell me that NBC were doing an hour-long white paper, so to speak, or an hour-long documentary on the rise of this kind of disinformation media empires, I would say that's great. We should definitely take a hard look at that and what has brought it about and what has made it such a really scary part of the media landscape. These are really important things to cover, and some people are doing a great job of getting out there and covering it. I don't think giving Alex Jones 15 or 16 minutes to simply spin his views and to spin his media image is the way in which to attack this. And as I wrote the other day, Megyn Kelly has not proven herself to be the kind of dogged interviewer that would be able to make a meal of this. I just don't see it.
That's interesting that maybe she is not the right person to be in this position interviewing this conspiracy theorist. Charlie, what do you say on that?
I think that, there's a good case to be made that that's true, especially from what we've seen in the lead up to all of this.
Okay.
But I think that there's this sort of dangerous argument right now that there should be, people on a list that can't be given a platform. And I think that that is part of sort of an old media argument that sort of
cover your ears, don't hear it, don't listen.
Suggests that the media are gatekeepers and sort of, have to vet who people can see. And I think that ignores the fact that Alex Jones has a huge platform and he's very influential. And there's this whole thing happening online and over his terrestrial radio stations that we need to talk about as a country, and normal people need to know about.
That's exactly what Kelly and her boss, NBC News Chairman Andy Lack, said to me a few days ago. They said, hey, terrorists and child molesters and serial killers have been interviewed on television. What's different about this hate monger, this conspiracy theorist? I wonder if what's different, Charlie, is that the country feels very anxious right now, obviously very divided, as we've been talking about. And Alex Jones is a virus. There's maybe a fear of spreading that virus more fully on a big network like the National Broadcasting Company.
And I think that's sort of where Mo and I are kind of agreeing on our arguments, which is that there's a way to interview him, and there's a way to be just, very intense and to really take him to task and to go at...
And hey, we don't know. We haven't seen the full interview yet.
Exactly.
I suspect that if there had been that moment, that stunning moment, that NBC would have released it as a preview, but we don't know. We have to see the full interview.
Precisely. And I think that, that part of the reason why they haven't sort of pushed back as much is maybe because that doesn't exist. And a lot of that leaked audio that Alex Jones has played on his website, InfoWars, sort of suggests that this was going to be maybe a bit of a humanizing piece.
At one point, you talked about wanting people to come away understanding him as a dad. Now, this is embarrassing, obviously, for her that Alex Jones was taping the whole thing. I think NBC should have expected that. If you're going to go into a guy's office and he's at war with you, and you don't think you're at war with him, he's going to win the war. This is a guy who says CNN is ISIS. This is a guy who espouses sick hate against the media. So I wonder, Mo, if there's an argument to be made that, you have to be better prepared if you're going to go into an interview situation like that.
I absolutely do. I think that, in court they would call it something like a hostile witness. And the thing of it is, I agree with Charlie that this is a really important rise that we need to understand. But part of the rise, many people in the media landscape now portray themselves as victims. And of course, that's been something in culture forever, for people to sort of stand up and say, everyone's after me, everyone's out to get me, and to blow up their profile that way. But Alex Jones has been incredibly savvy about how he does this. And here's who wins by this interview airing. And of course, at this point, NBC can't back out. It's too late for that. But Alex Jones wanted more people to know who he is. Alex Jones wanted more attention from people who might pay for certain products that he sells. He's going to get what he wants out of this. He's going to also get to portray himself as the victim of these mainstream media sharks who were going after him and trying to discredit him. So really, honestly, from a PR standpoint, he has played the game brilliantly. NBC, much less so. I think that the photo that was released of them, her wearing sunglasses,
right?
And
Jones posted
out,
a picture of them hanging out, right? Yeah, I mean, I'm out of time here, but Charlie, you've
the whole
called
framing
this.
of it.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you, Mo. I was just to say that this term, what do you call it, Charlie? The pro-Trump upside-down media.
Yeah.
That's a term you've coined to me. We have to figure out ways to understand that universe, the Alex Jones universe. It's all in maybe how you do it. Mo, Charlie, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
Up next, we're talking about